Hello, and welcome back to Fun Things to Do with Woodworking Machines. You know, when you're not working wood with them. I bought these three machines for $100 a piece at a yard sale down the street. So I got a Rockwell bandsaw for $100. Seems to work okay. I don't think I'm going to do very much to that. Clean it up, lubricate it, replace the blade, set the guides, normal maintenance stuff. This lovely DeWalt radial arm chopper offer, hiding under all of the garbage. Actually in really good shape, smooth as butter. I think I'm just going to replace the wooden punky deck on there, so it's all clean and ready to go. And the problem child ended up being this Rockwell Model 10 contractor's saw, famous item. It had this Bosch router as a table router mounted in place of one of the wings. Did not come with all of the little inserts for that table. The table itself was just mounted to the rails, the fence guides, and it didn't really match up with the steel table itself. So it was really hard to, and just if you're working with something really small, it probably wouldn't work at all. And if you had something really small, it would fall through that hole. So not sure if that's going to go back on the saw or what's going to happen to that. Of course, missing the other steel table wing because they replaced it with that router. The saw itself, it was rusty. I went after the table with some wire wheels on drills and cleaned up pretty well. I threw some T9 Bowie shield on there to preserve the tabletop. But the saw also drew a lot of amperage when it started. It does have a capacitor start motor, so I'm assuming the capacitor is either bypassed or just not there at all, just not working. I don't think it's a start run cap, I think it's just a start cap. I'll find one of those and replace that. But in the course of investigating everything, I of course took the thing completely apart and threw it on the ground and tipped it over. The rails are in good shape. They're straight. They're a little bit pitted with rust. I can probably throw some of this evapor rust on there and take care of that, make sure they don't keep rusting. The rack is in good shape. Here's all the hardware. These lovely little screws that hold the guides on. They're little coped standoffs. Those are cute. It's all there. I think this saw really was bought by one guy down the street and put into his shop and never moved again. So it's not like it's been picked up by the fence guides and carried around and knocked out of alignment or anything. So it's a pretty good little machine. The big problem, other than it being dirty and I wanted to clean it, so that's why it's lying on its side, was the elevator for the saw blade itself was incredibly stiff. And got it upside down, cleaned it all out, took some of this here silly coil, great stuff, just threw it on the shaft there to the worm gear. On the other end of the shaft, cleaned up all of these. It's a good thing to do to your saw if you can. Just clean out these worm gears and clean all the goo out of the teeth. Basically just clean the entire thing. And now the elevator works. Except, well, the handle's missing. The handle's off. A little nut that goes on here, which is probably another one of these lovely 3-lobed lock nuts. It's lost to the ages, so I'll have to find another one of those. Cleaned up the stand, found there was missing 2 or 3 of these fasteners, so maybe I'll try to find some of these lovely large slotted flathead quarter 20s to put back in there. Nothing on this thing has a hex drive, so I'm trying to stay away from anything with an Allen key. And the starter, not the starter, the switch is just this old original toggle switch. I think I'm going to try to find a paddle switch for that because I like them, because you can kick them off with your knee when things go sideways. I was able to download the original manual from vintagemachinery.org if you're a fan of Keith Rucker. you'll know vintagemachinery.org. So I've got the manual, or a PDF of it. And yeah, right now it's just time to clean it up, replace the cap, reassemble it, put a new saw blade in there, and see if it'll cut wood. And then, of course, there's the rest of the shop. It needs a bit of work if I'm ever going to do any kind of woodworking in here at all. There's a couple of little Craftsman jointer, another Craftsman table saw, some sort of lathe. Well, I got to get back to work on this thing. Catch you later.